there, I'm Michelle.
I'm Jim, and we are
A Teague of Your Own. Welcome to another Motivational Monday.
Let's get motivated.
Woo! It's a cold, snowy day in southwestern Pennsylvania. Yeah, not nearly as much snow as we thought, though.
No, but it's still enough to be irritating.
Yes, yes it is. Yes it is. We've got a webinar this evening.
We do.
I hope all of you, most of you know that over the past 2 years, we've been doing free webinars every single month. And they've been on Mondays at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yes.
And this year, we decided to try something different, and we are moving them to the evenings. They're starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you're out in the Pacific Coast, that's going to be 5 o'clock p.m. your time.
That way more people can enjoy it without having to try to tune in during their work time.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So that's what the whole purpose behind all of this is. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will.
I think we've got them scheduled this year for the entire year at 8 o'clock. So
yeah, so I guess we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. If you haven't registered yet, there's still time. Go register. You can find it either on our website, ateagueofyourown.com. If you click on the events tab, you can find it on Facebook. You can find it on LinkedIn. The other thing we want to ask people to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes. We're on a quest to get to enough subscribers
to change the name.
To change the name, yeah.
So if you are seeing this either through Facebook or LinkedIn, head over to our YouTube channel, click subscribe, and it'll make us happy.
Right. You don't have to watch anything. Just subscribe.
Just subscribe. And then you'll find out when this comes up.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then if you want to watch it, you can. Yes. You'll get notifications.
Exactly. The webinar we are doing this evening is on breaking up with self-sabotage.
Right.
And one of the things we wanted to talk about today is what that looks like, what that means, and why you would want to do that. So what does it mean when people are sabotaging themselves? What can that look like?
It means they're doing things to stop their own success. So I liken it to the story of Icarus. If you remember that.
Greek mythology.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Where they start to fly a little too close to the sun, and their wings melt.
Because they were made out of candles and feathers.
Right.
Yeah.
And that self-sabotage is like that. When there's some people that they'll start to have some success, they'll start that, upward trajectory, and then they'll do things to slow themselves down. And part of that is mindset.
Yep.
They can't picture themselves as successful. It's interesting on this topic. I was watching a video earlier today, and it was our mentor, Paul Martinelli. And, he was talking about how, when he was broke, he seemed to be constantly surrounded by broke people, and they all had that mindset. Here we are. And you notice that people are like that. They tend to congregate with people who are at the same level of success. And the only way to really get past that is you've got to start getting around the people who, have a higher level of success. But that means breaking out of that mold, that mindset, that this is as far as I can go. And when you start to move beyond that, all of a sudden you find ways to bring yourself back. And that's a matter of, I think, attitudes and habits.
I agree. Well, we know that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yes.
So it makes sense. If you want to be successful, you need to find 5 people who are successful and hang out with them.
Go find some more successful friends.
Yes. Or find that rich uncle or aunt or long lost cousin and go, ask them for a job and go hang around with them and work for them. However, What you're wanting to do is, if you're wanting to improve your life, is you're wanting to improve the people that you are around. Because part of that goes to the mindset. They have a different mindset than you currently do.
Right.
And to change your mindset, you need to be in an environment that will promote that.
Right.
And when you're talking about self-sabotage, you're right. It's anything that you are doing that is preventing you from achieving the success that you would want.
Mm-hmm.
It can be in your personal life. It could be in your professional life. There's lots of different areas that we all sabotage ourselves from being as successful as we can.
Yeah.
And so the webinar that we're hosting this evening is going to talk about what you can do to stop that cycle from happening.
Right.
Because that's what happens, is it's a cycle.
It is a cycle.
And you saw it in sales.
Oh, yeah.
Years and years ago when you were in
Yes.
sales, you would see
Yes.
it in sales.
Yes.
What would happen?
For most of us, it was a case of, especially working for companies where they had quotas.
Mm-hmm.
It was, the goal was to make that quota. And a lot of times what would happen is 1 month you'd make the quota, and then, you know, you'd enjoy the benefits of that, but without having that mindset that, you know, this is where I should be every time, even beyond that. Mm-hmm. Seems like it would always fall back to below the quota the next month. And there were a group of us that were like that. That's why one of the strategies that I would try to employ was, anytime that I made my quota for the month, any additional sales that I thought that I had coming up closer to the end of the month, instead of go ahead and trying to get those in to make more money that month, I tried to delay those to the next month. So it was easier to make my quota.
You were sandbagging.
I was sandbagging a little bit sometimes, but that wouldn't work. That was the crazy thing. It never seemed to work out. But part of that was because we just couldn't see ourselves being as successful as there were some other people in the company that they went for it every month, and they, new month start, they didn't care. They were gone to the races. And that's because they could picture themselves as being more successful. And that's one of those things that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes.
Once you have that kind of success, then it's much easier to repeat it. Once you've really got that, provided that you get into that mindset, that almost that habit. Now, I did find that later on when I got into a different kind of sales, different product area, that with that one, I saw myself as being very successful. And I had months in a row where things were just, I was knocking it out of the park, and got into that mindset that that's the way it's supposed to be. And that's it. Once you get to that, you can see yourself at that level. You get there and you start to say, this is where I'm supposed to be, and beyond. Again, that seems to be the self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes. What you'll see with salespeople, and the reason why I talk about salespeople is because it's very easy to see what happens with the self-sabotage with them. With salespeople, they will say at the beginning of the year, beginning of a quarter, this is the year, this is the quarter that I do well.
Finally gonna do it.
And they will start off, like you said, with gangbusters. So they'll be like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And they'll start doing it. That's the amazing part, is when you think you can, you can. And they'll start to see this level of success. And then their subconscious mind,
that's not supposed to be you,
tells them, you're not supposed to be successful.
Supposed to be there.
Yeah. And they will start to cut back on the activities that made them successful, because they need to go back to being who they were before. And that's why it can be so difficult to break out of that cycle. And that's what it truly is a cycle, where you decide you want to be successful, and you start making changes, but your subconscious mind, after you start to implement those changes, tells you, no. That's not who you are.
Right.
You aren't that successful person. You need to go back to the way that you were, because that's a safe place for us.
Well, and friends and family do it to you too. When you're having that kind of success, and usually when they see it, what do they say? They don't say, oh, wow, you must have really worked hard. You must really be studying. You must really be developing your skills. What do they say?
You're so lucky.
You're so lucky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Luck has nothing to do with it.
But that's part of the problem, is And it's because they can never see themselves
Right.
having that sort of success. The only way that they can is if they luck up and win the lottery.
Exactly.
And that's where that mindset comes from. And so when they see you having that kind of success, well, obviously you're just like them. They could only get there if they were lucky. So
Right.
you could only get there if
Yep.
you were lucky. And you got to push past that.
Yes,
That's the problem. But that also might mean sometimes maybe you got to stay away from those friends, family members who will say things like that to you.
If those are the 5 people you're spending most of your time around and you're not successful, maybe that's why.
Maybe that's why you need to go find 5 other people to go hang out with. And sometimes that might mean avoiding, family, because some family members just will never get it.
Nope.
But they're kind of like, what's the story they tell with crabs? You put crabs in a basket and you have to worry about them crawling out, because if any of them start to get out, the others will pull them back.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
And again, that's that self-sabotage thing, because you hear their words and you start to think, well, maybe they're right. And
they're not.
No, they're not. No. They're not. And so a lot of it has to do with your beliefs, your attitude, having the right, the positive mental attitude, which I agree with Zig Ziglar. You cannot do anything with a positive mental attitude, but you can do everything better with a positive mental attitude.
Yeah. This weekend, I was one of the facilitators for a personal and professional development workshop that one of the groups I belong to is Business and Professional Women's Clubs here in this area, and District 3 hosted it, and I was one of the facilitators. And one of the things that we talked about was mindset. We talked about how to change the cycle, to change where you are in life, you have to have the right mindset. Yeah. And you have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe that you can succeed. And I told them, said, if you don't believe in yourself, borrow my conviction and my belief in you, because I do believe that you can be successful, and I do believe that you can achieve what you set out to achieve. So keep that in mind. Sometimes your self-belief may be limited, and that's one of the reasons why the self-sabotage is happening. There are other people out there, though, who do believe in you. They see what you have the potential to do, and they believe in you. Borrow their belief.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
All right, so tonight, like I said, 8 o'clock Eastern time for our webinar. It is a complimentary webinar. We do not charge for the monthly webinars that we have. It's our way of adding value to all of you and giving everybody an opportunity to see what we're like.
Yep.
Just like these lives that we do. Mm-hmm. And gives you an opportunity to learn something new and to brush up on some of your skills and see us in action. If you want to register, you can find the links here on Facebook and on LinkedIn. You can also go to our website. What is our website?
ateagueofyourown.com.
ateagueofyourown.com. Click on the events tab and you will find the link right there to register. If they have questions for us, how can they call us or text us?
They can call us or send us a text message at 412-420-7975.
There you go. All right, folks. So we look forward to seeing you this evening for our webinar. It is live and in person. Actually, it's on Zoom, but it is live, and you can tune in from anywhere. That's on Breaking Up with Self Sabotage. Join us. Go ahead and register for that before you forget, because I know you're busy. You got lots of stuff going on. Make sure you do that sooner rather than later. All right.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sound good? All right. So we will see you next week. Remember to like and follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, subscribe.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.